Namo Om Vishnu Bhadaya Krishna Bhushtaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaulavani Pachaline Nivasisha Shunyavadi Pashtatar Satarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Is it going to be a total eclipse? I don't think so. We would have heard about that more. Yeah? No,
They're saying part.
Okay, so partial. Yeah. Okay.
So what do we do? What are we supposed to do?
We're supposed to read Bhagavad Gita. We're supposed to read chapter 16 of Bhagavad Gita.
Up to 8 o'clock though. It doesn't finish till 8 something.
Wow.
Well, then
We'll chant some rounds.
chant the holy name.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we are. Let's just go back and read the Sanskrit for the last two verses, get some context, although basically the same. 13 to 15. The demonic person thinks, so much wealth do I have today, and I will gain more according to my scheme. Quite a bit of noise coming from someone. So much is mine now, and it will increase in the future more and more. He is my enemy, and I have killed him. Ha ha ha. And my other enemies will also be killed. Make good lines in the play, wouldn't it? I am Lord of everything. I am the enjoyer. I am perfect, powerful, and happy. I am the richest man, surrounded by aristocratic relatives. There is none so powerful and happy as I am. I shall perform sacrifices. I shall give some charity, and thus I shall rejoice. Ha ha ha. In this way, such persons are deluded by ignorance. And number 16, thus perplexed by various anxieties and bound by a network of illusions, they become too strongly attached to sense enjoyment and fall down into hell. And then that was quite a lengthy purple. And number 17, someone would like to kick us off and read the Sanskrit and the translation and the relatively small purple.
Can I do it?
Yes, go ahead.
Atmasambhavita stabdha dhanaman madanvita yajante nam yajnaste dambhe dambena vidipurvakam. The self-complacent and always impudent, deluded by wealth and false prestige, they sometimes proudly perform sacrifice in the name only, without following any rules and regulations. Thank you.
You can read the purple.
Thinking themselves all in all, not caring for any authority or scripture, the demonic sometimes perform so-called religious or sacrificial rites. And since they do not believe in authority, they are very impudent. This is due to illusion caused by accumulating some wealth and false prestige. Sometimes such demons take up the role of a preacher, mislead the people, and become known as religious reformers or as incarnations of God. They make a show of performing sacrifices, or they worship the demigods and manufacture their own God. Common men advertise them as God and worship them, and by the foolish they are considered advanced in principles of religion or in the principles of spiritual knowledge. They take the dress of the renounced order of life and engage in all nonsense in that dress. Actually, there are so many restrictions for one who has renounced this world. The demons, however, do not care for such a restriction. They think that whatever path one can create is one's own path. there is no such thing as a standard path one has to follow. The word avidi purvakam, meaning a disregard for the rules and regulations, is especially stressed here. These things are always due to ignorance and illusion.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Avidipurvakam. This word is used in connection with those who worship devas. They're engaged in worship, but their worship is misplaced. Avidipurvakam. I think that's in chapter 9. Krishna describes. So here Prabhupada's giving a summary of the demonic nature. And we might say he's speaking from his experiences in India. As we know, in India, there's many such persons who are proposed to be God. And it always amazes me how many persons believe. Mother Pushpak, if you could just mute your microphone, please. Thank you, Hare Krishna. It always amazes me how many persons, okay, we've got the persons who claim to be God, but then you've got the persons who are actually foolish enough to actually believe them and to follow them. Yeah? So this is demonic. Yeah? Yeah, here we have demonic people who have no regard to any sacrifices. They don't even know what the word means. They're just demonic to the core. They have no sense of doing any type of sacrifice. So Prabhupada's speaking about those who do. They're the worst, actually, those who are professing to be preachers, but actually they're just in it for themselves. Have you heard this statement? In it for themselves.
Selfish.
Yeah, the prosperity gospel, which is quite popular in America, where some of them are quite charismatic, and they convince people to give them unlimited amounts of wealth, and they spend it on their own comfort, and they spend it on their own living. Yeah, jets, etc., etc., estates, etc., etc. So it's all going on. Yes. Any questions or comments on this?
And fooling the public.
Fooling, yeah. What did Prabhupada say? The cheaters and the cheated. Yeah. They're not wise enough, or they're not sincere enough to actually find out what is the real thing. So they want to take it, they want something very cheap. So therefore they accept the cheap so-called incarnation.
Even if it makes them broke in the meantime.
Yeah, because God's going to reward them in
Heaven.
Eventually. Yeah, so they don't want the real thing. I remember one time I had this, Prabhupada made this statement that the cheaters and the cheated. So one time I was walking down Oxford Street, and I saw this store. It was selling cashmere scarves. And it was only £10. I thought, wow, that's pretty good. A cashmere scarf for £10. Let me buy one. So I bought it for £10. And of course, when I got back to the temple, I looked more closely. It wasn't a cashmere scarf. It so happened that there was a company called Cashmere that were making acrylic scarves. I should have known better. A guy on the store on Oxford Street selling cashmere scarves for £10. So I was a fool, because I didn't really know what the real thing was. If I'd known what cashmere was, I would have inspected it very closely. And I would have easily seen that it was a counterfeit. And if I read closely, I would have seen actually it's the company. And the word was spelled a little bit, slightly bit different. It was called the Cashmere Company. So the guy had advertised cashmere scarves. So in the same way, persons, they're not really sincerely don't want to understand what is real religion, what is the principles of religion, and what it means to follow religion. They want to, they're not sincere enough to actually find out the actual real thing. So therefore, they accept an imposter, or they accept the cheater. That's why Prabhupada would always, whenever he speaks about guru, or how he writes about guru, he always writes bona fide guru.
Mm.
It should be bona fide guru. So if we really want to understand who to follow, then we have to read Bhagavad Gita. We have to study the Srimad Bhagavatam. And then we can be very clear who to follow. Thankfully, ISKCON is having quite a powerful effect in India. And many are being educated by Prabhupada and not being bluffed by so-called cheap counterfeit incarnations or so-called preachers of Bhagavad Gita, who proclaim to be incarnations, etc. So many people, thanks to Prabhupada, are now becoming more clear, thanks to the Bhagavad Gita. Still, no doubt, there's some cheaters out there. If there's a cheater, there's always someone willing to follow them. So,
We also have these Ritwiks.
Yes.
They are also calling themselves, like Srila Prabhupada and getting all the one revelation of Srila Prabhupada.
They're calling themselves Prabhupada? No.
No,
Say
in
again?
charge of Ritwiks, the gurus, in charge of the people who follow Srila Prabhupada straight away without a guru.
Yeah, that's a bit more subtle. It's a bit more close to home. Yeah, we have our share as well. Yeah, it's interesting. Ravinder Sarup, many years ago, he coined this phrase, which was interesting, without going sidetracked into the whole social issue of Ritvictism. But he said the Ritvics is our own baby. He was born from ISKCON. Born in one sense from, born from misinterpretation of the philosophy due to Prabhupada's departure, etc., etc. But Radhakishor's pointing out a very, grave point that even close to home, persons follow them. I don't know how anyone can read Prabhupada's books and come to that conclusion, which they can come to, but somehow they do. And there'll be Ritviks here in 100, 200 years from now. There'll be persons proclaiming to be direct disciples of Prabhupada. They're still going to be here 200, 300 years. Well, that's my guess. It's going to be there. But yeah, so there's an example. The people can get quite bewildered, the way they present their so-called truths. The way they present it is very bewildering for someone who hasn't, spent the time to really study Prabhupada's books. There's all types of tactics they use as well. They bring up all these horror stories that's happened as so-called proof that you should only follow. You should accept Prabhupada as your guru. Yeah. So a bit close to home, that one. Well, hopefully not too close to home. I think we've become quite separated now. They're over there and we're over here. And we don't have much interaction with them. All due respect, they're devotees of some type, but you should avoid them like the plague. Because they blaspheme our spiritual masters in such a way that it's enough to make you physically sick, with all due respect. They blaspheme any of spiritual masters. They're so from their envious demonic point of view, they think that they're impersonating Prabhupada. Utter and complete madness. I think they're playing the role of Prabhupada. Prabhupada's the only guru. Anyway, we can see how other, perhaps from that we can learn and see how other people get bewildered by other types of so-called religious leaders in different other in other traditions. Yeah, what's that in Bhagavatam? Payene apeso sabya kalo aswin yuge janaha manda sumanda matayo manda upagyo upatutaha. So the sages at Naimisharanya, they could see that in this age persons are lazy, quarrelsome, they're quarrelsome, lazy, misguided, unlucky, and above all, always disturbed. So someone may have a quest, some type of quest for understanding things, but they get misled. They're unlucky. They get misled. Yeah. Try and hold back going on a whole big rant here. But yeah, any other comments or questions here? Yes. Anyway, remember when Ritviks, yeah, we've had quite some history of Ritviks in our temple. They used to stand outside the temple. Everyone remember that?
Yeah.
And anyone who comes, they're like a vulture. They home in and give them one of their magazines. I remember dear Johnny Tai, he really found it hard to tolerate them standing outside their temple, I think he came close to physically attacking them, and I don't blame him. It really wound Johnny Tai up. He's trying to protect the temple, and innocent people come for the Sunday feast and have a great time, then they leave and they get this magazine called Back to Prabhupada in their hand, and it's just full of blasphemy. I can imagine. I felt for Johnny Tai, there's that nature. He's a bit of a chatterer, so he wouldn't stand it. Huh?
Actually, I did that once, many years ago. I was in Leicester Rath Yatra, yes, and then Leicester Rath Yatra, and they were just at the end of it. They were just standing, couple of people standing with back to Prabhupada, and I just grabbed Rishikesh's stick and I ran.
Really?
How could
So
I
you
do
chased him with the stick?
Yeah, I ran after them with the stick, Rishikesh's stick. This is many, 20, 25 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, when they first were coming to
When it
Rath
first
Yatra,
started, yes, it really
everyone
bothered
was
me.
freaking out. The Ritviks are here. The Ritviks are giving out their magazines. They're giving out their
It was
magazines.
so
What are we
bothering
going to
me.
do? Tell the Tikshuk, all this. Now they come every year. No one gives a damn.
No.
Let them stand there with their magazines and
And the thing is that I remember the face of one person, and
yeah,
he
I
comes to
know.
our temple now,
Yeah.
and then I just was like, oh no, I ran after him with a stick.
Right. Did you catch him? Did you catch him? Whack.
He ran away because I had a stick in my hand.
It would be so confusing to an innocent person coming to the temple, though, because they dress the same too.
Yeah.
If you don't know any difference, then you really would think it's the same thing.
Yeah, so it's an interesting.
You sort of joined because of Prabhupada, and then somebody's doing this to Prabhupada. It's like it really gets you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's interesting how we have, close to home, it's not people, become enamored, don't you even come to a temple. They can be enamored by what's Prabhupada's saying in his purport. And it's the age of Kali, so we have to, but I remember I did some seminars on Ritviktism when I was hanging out around the temple and, to educate devotees. So, yes. And Prabhupada speaks how people take the dress of the renounced order of life and engage all types of nonsense, That's a common thing in India. It's a job to tell who's who.
It's difficult, isn't it, Prabhu? Because even my husband,
Go on, yeah.
he works in Wembley, and one Ritvik Prabhu came, and he obviously looks the same as devotees, and he was asking for donation for Bangalore temple, And then I told him, I said, Bangalore is
No.
Bangalore is not associated with ISKCON anymore. I don't think so. So I said, just be careful in who you associate with. Because
Yeah.
he was like, oh, Prabhu, like, and then I said, just be careful. Not everybody is devotees.
Yeah,
Follow Srila Prabhupada.
it's true. Yeah, and for sake of our own spiritual development as well, we just want to steer clear of them because we might find ourselves getting too agitated and starting to become vicious towards another jiva. So it's best to stay clear. But yeah, as soon as you hear the word Bangalore, then alarm bells,
Yeah.
ding, 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 go
Yeah.
off.
So are they Ritviks as well then in Bangalore?
Yeah, the whole temple is Ritwik.
That's the capital. That's the capital of Ritwik.
Yeah, it's really flourishing.
I didn't know. So
Yeah.
wow.
That's the
We
capital.
have a ISKCON temple. We have Prabhupada's temple, which is further down somewhere.
Yeah.
But,
So they're still functioning under the auspices of the name of ISKCON. So the general Indian public, most of them are not aware. They think it's ISKCON.
And they're opening a huge temple in Vrindavan now, apparently.
Yeah, that one's been coming up a number of years.
Yeah.
The tallest temple, apparently.
Oh, I heard about it. Yeah.
In Vrindavan.
Oh, wow. I didn't know they were Ritviks.
Yeah, now we're getting to the whole Ritvik thing here. But the Ritviks, there's many different camps now. They have different ideologies and not all of them agree with each other. It's a big mess. There's not one cohesive Ritvik group who proclaims a certain Ritvik philosophy. There's about 10 of them, all different deviations, all different types, It's a big mess, Some of the Ritviks don't agree with Madhu Pandits and etc. Blah 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 blah. Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Yeah, but we should just surrender to Prabhupada. That's it. I mean, how much did he go through just to give us this?
Yeah.
Radhalan Ishwar temple.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all we should do.
All right. Let's move on, perhaps. Let's not Ritvik conversation. Let's move on. The text. Unless any questions about it.
I'll just quickly, we hear so many things going on. ISKCON this, ISKCON that. This, problem that. Guru this, that. But I think we should just remember one thing, that the philosophy that Prabhupada taught us is perfect. Those who follow are not perfect. That's why these problems are coming up.
Yeah, it's a human condition nature.
Human conditioning.
Human condition nature. It's a bit asking too much if one is expecting everything to be perfect and everything to be proper. There's going to be deviations. There's going to be misunderstandings. That's what comes with a organization, especially the size of our organization. But somehow we're still present. We're still functioning. There's still a GBC. There's differences in some aspects of the preaching and even some subtle aspects of the tattva, perhaps, different ideas, but there's still an ISKCON movement and it's still in one piece and it's still, it's still having its effect, in many places. And the preaching's still going on. So that's to the credit of the Prabhupada disciples, that despite the differences, as Prabhupada said, that they are continuing to work together. I mean, it could have been ISKCON could have been disintegrated and there was no GBC meetings anymore, no GBC, there's no structure, there's nothing. But it's not like that. There's temples and actually I think we're becoming more stronger over the decades, learning from the things that have gone wrong. ISKCON's becoming a lot more mature and a lot stronger for the future. Having learned a lot from the past, Yeah.
Prabhupada's made everything so perfect. And we should just follow his word and have full faith in Prabhupada, and you can't go wrong then. Yeah. You won't look elsewhere.
Yeah. We're in the Sarup again. Funny comes to mind again.
He wrote that book, ne?
Huh?
But he wrote that book. Well, Patsucha Maharaj worked with that book.
100 about the anti-Rippitism. But no, he did a seminar. It's called the hidden history of ISKCON. And it's interesting because he's coming from a faithful follower of Prabhupada, a faithful follower of ISKCON, and he's speaking about all the controversies which happened, but he's seeing it from a different light and a different angle than what the Ritviks are seeing it, because they use these our sordid history as evidence for their so-called deviation. But Ravinda approaches from a different point of view, from a maturing of a society. And he gets into the details of the scandals that happened even in Prabhupada's time. He kind of lays it all out, but he gives a positive conclusion to it. It's called the Hidden History of ISKCON. It's many years old now. I used to listen to it when I used to make the Mongoladi sweets.
That was many years ago.
Yes. Okay, 1618. Let's see where we go in this verse. Okay, someone like to read 1618?
I can read.
Go ahead.
Text 18. Ahankaram balam darpam kamam krodam cha samsritaha mam atma paradeshu pradvishanto baya sukhaha. Bewildered by false ego, strength, pride, lust, and anger, the demon becomes envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in their own bodies and in the bodies of others, and blasphemy against the real religion. Purport. A demonic person, being always against God's supremacy, does not like to believe in the scriptures. He is envious of both the scriptures and the existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is caused by his so-called prestige and his accumulation of wealth and strength. He does not know that the present life is a preparation for the next life. Not knowing this, he is actually envious of his own self, as well as of others. He commits violence on other bodies and on his own. He does not care for the supreme control of the personality of Godhead because he has no knowledge. Being envious of the scriptures and the supreme personality of Godhead, he puts forward false arguments against the existence of God and denies the scriptural authority. He thinks himself independent and powerful in every action. He thinks that since no one can equal him in strength, power, or wealth, he can act in any way and no one can stop him. He has an enemy who might check the advancement of his sensual activities. He makes plans to cut him down by his own power. Hare Krishna.
Okay. And so this chapter goes on, very graphically describing the demonic principle. But it has caught my attention here to the verse, bewildered by false ego, strength, pride, and lust and anger. They become envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in their own bodies and in the bodies of others. So the super soul, Krishna, within the heart, he's always trying to guide us to good. He's trying to guide us to auspiciousness, to be But here the demonic, they directly go against that guidance from within the heart. Even I think we mentioned before, they get a pleasure of going against the direction that's coming from the Lord within the heart. And I guess it's quite an interesting discussion because Krishna fulfills their desires and he gives them reasons not to believe in him. Very intelligent reasons sometimes as well. As you know, I've mentioned this before. One of my YouTube deviations is to watch these debates between theists and atheists, and some of their arguments, you might listen to their presentation of why. There's one I watched again just recently. Is religion the evil of the earth, or is it good? And this man is atheist. He does his part. He speaks his part. He gets 5 minutes or 7 minutes. Then the combatant like that. And the arguments are quite, unless you know your stuff, unless you're kind of got some understanding, then he can easily get bewildered, because they come up with very so-called, seems to be intelligent, what they're saying. You know, sometimes they're very learned and they're very scholarly, and they present all types of histories, etc. You know, but then you hear the other side, and then the other side, the other person is, oh, yeah, okay, this makes more sense. And the point I'm trying to make out here is that there are persons whose career is to speak against God. You know, that's their career, that's their life. You know, and that's ultimately, that the intelligence to do that is coming from the Lord himself. Inconceivably, it's coming from the Lord himself. Anyway, anyone has any comments on that or questions?
I was thinking about, like, Krishna is the one who gives you remembrance and forgetfulness.
Yes, release and he restored.
Yeah. So whatever we've desired in our previous lives, when we take a new body, then Krishna, okay, helps you to remember what you want to do. Well, last life you wanted to be an atheist, so do you still want to carry on,
Yeah. By Krishna, in the Bhagavad Gita, earlier on in one purport, one describes by Krishna's grace, one goes to hell. By Krishna's grace, one obtains liberation. You know?
Yeah.
So anyway, here, yeah, always go against supremacy of the Lord. I think we mentioned in class this morning, we have Hiranyakashipu and Ravan, classic demons who tried their best to deny the existence of God, and ultimately that was all destroyed. Yeah. Yeah, they put forward false arguments against the existence of God. And I think I might have mentioned this before, but there's one cartoon I saw. Forgive me if you might remember it from bringing it out before. But there was this, it was very good. It's very illustrative. There was this cartoon, and the cartoon was these fleas, and they're in this big jungle. These big, tall, these little fleas, they're in this big, massive jungle, these tall, like trees, they're tall trees, and there's a convention. The fleas are having a convention, and there's a podium, and and on the podium, on the front of the podium, it's got dogs do not exist. You get the point here?
Mm-hmm.
No, I'll have to tell you the clincher. The fleas are living on the body of the dog.
Yes.
And they're so small, they cannot make out the actual configuration of a dog. They're just a little flea. It's looking up the hairs of the dog.
Yeah.
It looks like gigantic, like a big forest of hairs. And they're having a conference. And they're saying dogs do not exist. But the whole existence is based on the dog.
Yeah.
So in the same way, the whole existence of even a demonic person is based on Krishna. Everything that the body one gets and the energies that one has and the facilities that one has, it's all nothing but Krishna. It's like Krishna's energies, and they deny he exists.
God doesn't exist.
Yeah. All right, we could bring up more things here. I guess I'm just thinking also for ourselves, can any of us claim to have seen Krishna? Well, yeah, I saw him today in the temple. But we have all had experience, okay, it may not be Shakshat Darshan. We may not have gone into a vision of the Manjaris and the Gopis and realized their spiritual form. But we, in following through what faith we have in following the directions of the Guru, following Prabhupada's direction and following bhakti, then we have profound experiences that we cannot deny. And even if someone tries to convince us that we're just hallucinating, yeah, this is Madhyama Adhikari. Someone who's at the state of Madhyam. They've had very deep experiences that they will never change their mind. Yeah. So no doubt we've all had some wonderful transcendent experiences for us that convinces us in the existence of God or the existence of Krishna. It may be subjective, personal experience, or it may be objectively looking at our life and how things have mapped out, how things have happened in our life. And we can only but reflect back and conclude someone's in control up there. And that person in control is Krishna.
Prabhu, can I
Go on.
some?
Sorry, Sita Vallabhi, yeah.
Yeah, basically, I come from a Jain, right? My husband comes from a Jain family,
Okay.
and they don't believe in creation or
Oh,
create.
really?
They believe that they are going to, like, they do all these tapasyas and all these austerities, and then they believe that they are going to be the gods. And
Really?
and I'm thinking Rishabh Dev teachings, they believe in Rishabh Dev, who is Adinath. They call it Adinath.
Yeah, yeah.
But the teachings have gone completely like in a different direction. I don't know. They've taken the wrong end of the stick, it seems like.
That's a
And
good way to describe it.
and they
The wrong
follow
end of the
that.
stick.
And you think, well, there is somebody out there who's created this wonderful universe.
Yeah.
But they just deny that. And then they believe in Saraswati Mata, Lakshmi Mata, and Devi Mata, but they disregard Vishnu, Brahma, or Lord Shiva. And they have all these matas in their temples. Then I'm thinking, but what about their husbands? And they disregard that. So is Krishna allowing that to happen because they want them to happen? I don't know.
Well, it seems like it. Is
Yeah.
it's happening?
It's
Yeah, I
strange.
mean, so just to be clear, so their philosophy is that there is no creation.
Mm,
That's what they believe. There's no point where there was a creation. So there's no dissolution.
yeah.
It's only the manifestation which we see in front of us. And they believe, interesting, they believe in goddesses or demigods.
Mm.
So they believe in celestial beings, but they have no concept of the ultimate
Yeah, but
supreme being, Krishna.
they
Krishna.
like my mother-in-law told me that they have like 24 tirthankars. So in the next 24 tirthankars, apparently Ravan and Krishna are going to be on the same level. And I was like, no way, Krishna is not on that same level. And I felt so hurt and I didn't know how to react. I was really upset, but I couldn't show that I'm upset. And I was like, okay, Krishna, you'll have to deal with this. I'm not convinced with
Yeah,
this.
sometimes it's not worth it. I mean, sometimes the Siddhanta or the philosophy can be so out there
Yeah.
that trying to disentangle it and
Mm.
trying to bring people to understand the correct tattva or the correct understanding, some people have gone too far.
Yeah.
So it may be a waste of time, for you to try and,
No, I'm just grateful that my husband is following Krishna consciousness.
Oh, he is. So he came from that. He came
He-
from
He took initiation from Janananda Maharaj
Yeah.
under Dalmore.
say
Yeah.
again. I missed that.
He is under Dalmore Prabhu and taken initiation from Janananda Maharaj.
Yeah. Good.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's really good.
Yeah, so they have their renunciate ladies, isn't it? Is that what you meant? They have where they renounce the world, isn't it? They wear white and
Yeah.
well, we have that as well, but it's a little bit different. Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw some news statement of one girl. She was 13 years old and she became a renunciate.
Yeah.
13 years old and she's been worshipped and all. Yeah, so there's hundreds of different proclamations of the absolute truth. It can be quite bewildering.
But why Krishna will not interfere? This is based on this purport that we're reading. And I was thinking, why Krishna will not interfere and, make everyone believe in him.
Well, that's up to us. That's the mission that we have.
Okay.
That's the mission of the devotees. We are doing that on behalf of the Lord. In this confused world, in this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, we are doing that on behalf of the Lord. We are doing that on behalf of the Lord. We are doing that on behalf of the Lord. We are doing that on behalf of the Lord. We are doing that on behalf of the Lord. We are doing that on behalf of the Lord. We are doing that on behalf of the Lord. We are doing that on behalf of the Lord. We are doing that on behalf of the Lord. We are doing that on behalf of the Lord. We are doing that on behalf of the Lord. We are doing that on behalf of the Lord. We are doing that on behalf of the Lord. We are doing that on behalf of the Lord. We are doing that on behalf of the Lord. We are doing that on behalf of the Lord. We are doing that on behalf of the Lord. We are doing that on behalf of the Lord. We are doing that on behalf of the Lord. We are doing that on behalf of the Lord. We are doing that on behalf of the Lord. We are doing that on behalf of the Lord. We are doing that on behalf of the Lord. We are doing that on behalf of the at least we have the four paramparas, the four bona fide paramparas, and we are doing our best to claim innocent persons before they get too misled. That's why our mission is so important, to distribute millions and millions and millions of Bhagavad Gitas, millions and millions of Srimad Bhagavatam sets, you know?
Yeah.
Krishna is, in one sense, relying on us
Whenever I go
as a service.
Prashadam, so that's the only way I can do things. I hide Prashadam. I take salt from salt and pepper from the temple and I put it in the salt.
You're an undercover agent. I know a few devotees like that.
I do. My
They're like
neighbors
undercover
actually,
agents for Krishna. Like yeah, what they call it? Yeah, they call it spies, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Spies
was like,
for Krishna. Yeah, sometimes it's on the point of book, sometimes it's if we can get them to read a book and let Prabhupada preach to them.
yeah.
No, we try and it must get, I mean, I guess it must get a little bit difficult when members of your own family are following such a, so sometimes you just have to keep it civil, you know, when you get together. Otherwise
Yeah.
it might cause too much.
I just silent.
Prabhupada said as well, he said we shouldn't unnecessarily criticize other religions.
No.
I mean,
And-
we shouldn't go around with just criticizing for the sake of it, because then we become too disturbed. Of course, if we have to defend the Siddhanta, if we meet someone who challenges Siddhanta, then we speak out. But as far as making it a mission, otherwise the mind gets too disturbed. I remember one time on book distribution, I had this desire. I wanted, you know, I was, you know, I'm going to meet some Christians and tell them this and tell them that, and then Krishna sent me all these different Christians. And at the end of the day, I don't want to meet another. Oh, my mind was too disturbed.
Yeah.
So, in one sense, it's going on. Let's just continue with our Krishna consciousness. If someone directly asks us, or there's an open challenge, then we might, good if we can say something. But other than that, there's so many different deviations. There's so many different so-called philosophies on the absolute truth. It's like it's the age of quarrel and hypocrisy. There's so much out there. There's so many different types of atheistic theories. There's so many types of different theistic theories. Yeah. And even in our own Vaishnav, even in the Vaishnav world, there's differences, but they're more friendly differences. You know, is Vishnu the Supreme or is Krishna the Supreme, etc. You know. Hare Krishna.
my neighbors are Jain as well, and I used to really talk to them and Bhagavad Gita, everything I've done. Yeah, they're quite stuck with that there is no thing as God. There is no form of God.
Yeah.
And, I just give them Mahaprasad. Like even yesterday after Rajbhog, I just did a plate with little things, just took it to them.
Yeah, Prashad's a secret weapon, isn't it?
That's it. It will purify them.
secret weapon.
Even in next life, at least they will get the Sukriti, unknown Sukriti. They'll benefit a lot more from that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
Prashad's
I'll give
a
them
secret
Prashad.
weapon.
Yeah,
That can change them at some point. You know.
yeah. At some point,
But
they'll
it's
change.
I mean, I never knew Jains didn't believe. I hadn't looked into it, but here we go. Jains don't.
No, they don't believe in. There's no form in their thing.
No.
Like two types of Jains actually. The
Yeah,
one
my
Okay.
sister-in-law is a Jain, but they
Yeah.
don't eat anything that's grown underneath the ground, and
Yeah.
they don't, so many things they don't eat. Very difficult.
So you could say if they're Mayavadis, sounds like they're impersonalists and Mayavadis, you know, a strain of Mayavad and the strain of impersonalism. So they have temples.
They have temples.
Yeah. They have
What's
them.
in their temples then? Nothing.
They have no. Some people believe in the Tirthankars. You know, the 24 Tirthankars. The main one they cast is Adinath, which is actually Lord Rishabdev, and that's in Canto 4. And I read because I wanted to understand more, and just so that I can explain to them that, you know, Rishabdev is an incarnation, or I think Shakti-avesh avatar of Lord Vishnu or Krishna.
Yeah, and the teachings of Lord Rishabdev to his sons as well.
Yeah, so he had
nothing other than pure bhakti yoga.
Yeah, but they've taken it in a different direction. Even Keshav Maharaj's family is Jain. He comes from the Jain background.
Okay.
And he was also trying to explain to his family, but I think their way of thinking is totally different. But they do have idols, and then they do puja. Like anybody can do puja, not just initiated devotees. And I asked them, I said, why do you do puja? And they said, so that we can pray to them, so we can become like them.
Oh, wow.
I guess it's I guess ISKCON is the kind of ISKCON has captured quite a few Jains.
Yeah, that's
quite a few ex-Jains in our movement.
yeah.
Jain families, so ISKCON's doing quite well. Where, you know, I mean, also it goes works the other way. I know he got the who's it, Swami Narayan's. There's a few ISKCON devotees that jumped ship and gone over to Swami Narayan's. Also, there's a lot of Swami Narayans who become. I think there's more Swami Narayans who take up bhakti, but there's a few Hare Krishnas who become Swami Narayans. Why, how, what? It's all going on. You know, Hare Krishna. All right, so we went from Ritviks to Jains.
Sorry.
Let's see what comes up. Let's read another verse. Let's see what comes up here.
That we feel that we are happy to be in ISKCON.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's outside for Krishna by the grace of Prabhupada.
But
Okay, text 19, relatively short purple. What's the time? 10 minutes. Okay, perhaps I'll have a read here. Tammaham dushata kuram samsareshu naradamam kitcha shapami akrasham shobam ashoro asuru eva yonishu. Okay, so now what happens to such persons? Those who are envious and mischievous, who are the lowest among men, I perpetually cast them into the ocean of material existence, into various demonic species of life. Okay. So what would you say is demonic species of life? A pigeon?
it doesn't have to be animal life.
Well, yeah, I think it. Okay. Yeah,
Maybe a vulture or something like that.
vulture, a cockroach, a scorpion. That's what comes to mind. A snake.
Snake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I heard some yesterday, if you're too attached to your house, like this is not devotees, they'll come back as a cockroach or a cat or a dog to that house.
Yeah.
Just so attached to that house.
Well, I think Prabhupada mentions in purple. But okay, let's read. In this verse, it is clearly indicated that the placing of a particular individual soul in a particular body is the prerogative of supreme will. So ultimate universal justice, yeah, which is Krishna's under Krishna's control. The demonic person may not agree to accept the supremacy of the Lord, and it is a fact that he may act according to his own whims, but his next birth will depend upon the decision of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Supreme Personality of Godhead, and not on himself. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 3rd canto, it is stated that an individual soul, after his death, is put into the womb of a mother, where he gets a particular type of body under the supervision of supreme power. What's that verse? I can't remember it now. Anyway, therefore, this is Lord Kapila, 3rd canto. Therefore, in material existence, we find so many species of life, animals, insects, men, and so on. All are arranged by superior power. They are not accidental. As for the demonic, it is clearly said here that they are perpetually put into the wombs of demons, and thus they continue to be envious, the lowest of mankind. Such demonic species of men are always full of lust, always violent and hateful, and always unclean. The many kinds of hunters in a jungle are considered to belong to the demonic species of life. Okay, there we go. Hunters in the jungle. Yeah. So any immediate comments or questions on this? Sounds quite harsh, isn't it? Does it sound like eternal damnation, the Christian concept of eternal damnation. It sounds a bit familiar. I perpetually cast into the ocean of material existence. Do they have a chance? I'll ask that as a question. Is there a chance that they can be redeemed?
They have that free will if they just turn their face to Krishna, who is within them. Then Krishna will help them.
But it might be difficult to do that. I mean, sometimes the soul may just not even make it out of the womb, just be killed in womb after womb, you know? So and if you have a particular demonic body and a particular aptitude and a particular demonic tendency, then it's very difficult to actually change one's path.
The desire of the devotees is to redeem everyone. So Krishna is fulfilling that desire. So I think that compassion the devotees have, or that desire to free everybody from their material and demoniac life, is manifesting. And so, yeah,
you're correct. I'm thinking because I think you're involved a bit with Food for Life, I think, Parashuram. And sometimes when I'm coming to and from the temple, I meet some homeless people, and they're really rough. I mean, they look rough, they smell rough, they sound rough, and they've been through it. Some of them have got, the teeth knocked out, and they can tell they're doing drugs, they're doing heroin, they're doing all types of unmentionable things. And they come up, they go, Hare Krishna. Why? Because
often these people seem to be so enthusiastic. I remember I was walking down in Camden by Parashuram's van, and one person was coming up behind me. I think I had my bike with the Hare Krishna sticker on it or something. And he started singing Govinda. And it was like, I was thinking, this person, although he looks like the worst type of person, is actually the best type of person, because he's
better than anyone else.
Singing Govinda's name.
Yeah, he's better than a man dressed up in a nice suit going to the office. Here he is. He's probably a crack addict. He's trying to go in the golf.
Yeah. So I thought Krishna's going to make arrangements for him.
Yeah, for sure. So that's an answer to our question that we're coming up with here. That remember we had in our classes on Sudha Bhakti Chintamani, then we're talking about Agata Sukriti, unknowing devotional acts. So okay, they're starving, they're hungry, well, a lot of crack addicts, they hardly eat, they want to eat something, because they're having withdrawal symptoms from crack or heroin, and they haven't got no money, so they get, they go to the Food for Life van,
eat something,
and they become favorably disposed to the devotees. That's my experience, homeless people, I was coming back from a station, St. Pancras the other day, and some guy, he looked like he crawled out of a gutter, and he came up. I was at the traffic lights, and he came up to me in a really rough voice. He said, I remember you guys when I first came to London. I saw you guys chanting, and that's all he said. And he kind of walked off, with carrying a bag on his head, all scars everywhere. I said, wow, he's friendly. He's friendly to devotees, So again, as we mentioned before, it's the devotees who can make a difference in even the demonic person's lives, if they're blessed, if they're blessed by association somehow or another, even if it's slight, with the devotees of law, then that's their only redeeming chance,
Hey, what happens if you help, like what happened we're having a lot of work done around the building, so we can't get into the balcony so much. This pigeon laid 2 eggs, and it's been going on for like 2 months.
What's happened?
a pigeon laying two eggs sitting on. So
On
like
the
every now
balcony.
and then on the
On the
balcony.
balcony. Well,
Yeah.
don't, yeah, anyway, yeah, go on.
So that little duckling-like things come up, and in the end ended up being pigeons, and the mother comes to show them how to fly. Anyway,
All
so
right,
now and then I was just throwing some mahapurush, like bread and things like that, because oh, babies, like that. What
Yeah.
happened? Do they really do they carry on with their
I've heard it described, if someone's conscious that they're eating remnants of God, then that will give them a human form of life. First, some of us might have some opinions on this, but if they're not aware of it, they will get benefits for sure to help them
I was hoping
on a natural evolutionary step
process,
towards a
yes.
human form of life.
Yeah. And the windows open and they're listening, mantra or class is going on.
Yeah. So no doubt
that's
they're
why
getting great benefit. Yeah.
I didn't kill them.
Yeah. Don't kill. We shouldn't kill any living being.
I didn't kill them.
So let's just see here. Anything else from anyone else? It's just hit 7 o'clock, and quite this chapter we're really getting into it, isn't it? The demonic qualities. But it's good because it's good for us to be educated in this, so we could steer clear away from the characteristics of demonic persons: pride, arrogance, intoxication of wealth, etc. So yeah, I know Krishna continues the same theme, but we'll pick it up next week. Taking repeated birth among many demonic species of life, sink down to the most abominable type of existence. Yeah. Okay. So thank you for coming in. I mean, we opened up shop to see if there were any customers. We've got 8 customers. We've got 7 customers. So thank you for coming.
Thank you, everybody.
And join us, those who are following through the Bhakti Chintamani. I think we have session 49 tomorrow. It should be happening at the same time. If not, see you next week for Bhagavad Gita. Back Kurukshetra. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Thank you.
Thank
you so much, Prabhu, for a wonderful class.
Thank you. Thank you for tuning in and listening.
Hare Krishna.
Going.